A filmmaker like me is always looking for gigs. He's always looking for murgas to patao. He's
Right.
always looking for. I mean, I'm a filmmaker.
Yes.
So there are hundreds of things. There are hundreds of projects in the pipeline, and I'm speaking to hundreds of people. And I'm not saying we don't want to sort of wrap it up and give it to you.
Correct.
We want the story to sort of keep on going in your head so that you can tell somebody else and say, "यार वो देख ले, हमने को पता उसका क्या हुआ."
Hi everyone, welcome to IWMBuzz. You're looking at Kunal Kothari, and I'm talking to the one and only Dibakar Banerjee. I mean, the kind of films he's made speak for themselves. And right now, obviously, we're here to talk about LSD too. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
All right. So, firstly, sir, I mean, before I start, I have to ask you this question because I have a feeling that you've been termed that particular that connotation or that the moniker way too often is maverick. Do you consider yourself to be a maverick?
Not really.
No.
I mean, I'm just myself. That's all.
Right.
So, yeah.
But do you feel that it's so much to do with people's norms or people's assumptions about you not fitting into them? You don't really fit
That
into that thing.
too. That too. But I think it also comes from the urge to name something,
Right.
the urge to label something when you can't label it. So yeah, I mean, it's something that we have learned from shops and supermarkets.
Correct.
So if it can be labeled, then it can be understood. If it's not labeled, then you don't know what to do with it. You don't know whether to buy it or not buy it or whatever.
True. That makes sense. And another thing I was very fascinated by because I just saw a couple of snippets like where you were talking about how it's obviously been a little tedious process making this film.
Tedious name.
Thing.
Absolutely not. It's been
No.
exhilarating. Absolutely. It's
Right.
like a roller coaster ride.
Okay.
It's been like on substance. I mean,
Mhm.
the film's like, I mean, making this film has been like, being on drugs. It's been crazy.
Ironically.
You go like this, you go up like this, you go
Yeah.
up like this, and it'll continue for the
It'll
next few
continue for the
weeks
next
and
few
all that.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe it's one of those things that I mean, because you the kind of filmography you've had and the kind of you've never really been into the public eye in the way that you've not done so many promotions. You've done obviously tits and bits here and there, but you've not been very active on the promotional front because you feel that okay, fine, my product will probably speak for it. Especially come from the times of Khosla and Olaki, where that wasn't really a trend anyway. It was all about my product is out there for you to watch. And then what films came along, they did not really. Yeah, exactly. So do you feel that exhaustion and you feel that today and it's very ironical that it's kind of like the idea of being changing with times, which is what the film kind of also speaks about. Do you feel that exhaustion?
Not at all. Actually, I would feel I'll feel exhausted the other way around.
Okay.
If I had to repeat myself, if I have to go on doing the same thing, then I would be exhausted, and that exhaustion would show in my film. That's the problem. So that's why I am condemned and doomed to sort of not repeat myself and do what I think excites me. So it's exhausting, but it's not it's exhausting in a good way.
In a
It's
good
like,
way.
yeah.
Right, correct. And even with the film, as we kind of talked about off record earlier, that I was fortunate to see the film. I genuinely, as I did mention, and no sugarcoating it, I did connect. I did connect with the all the three tracks in their own aspects, in their own respect. Mostly with the gaming track, it was very raw. And funnily, I don't even watch it. Like I've not seen gamers on YouTube and everything, but you understand. You catch the nerve of it. But as I mentioned, that these characters somehow I felt did not get the closure. And again, I have a feeling that because LSD was such a niche film back then, and it worked. Obviously, it worked. But those people went in with absolutely no expectations because nothing like that had come along, and then they got this kind of a storyline where you see the three stories interconnecting with each other, and everyone getting some sort of closure. That doesn't happen with LSD too. Was that a conscious choice, and was it something that you thought
Yeah,
about?
I mean, I mean, what the writers and me we were trying to do was see. First of all, you must remember that the larger part of the audience will see LSD2 as the first of the LSD.
Mm,
A lot of the kids who were like 4-year-olds or 7-year-olds or toddlers or 10-year-olds or teenagers or not adults when LSD1 came out will be seeing LSD2 first and then going to LSD if they
right.
like it. So there is no need to sort of connect the first one and the second one except them being spiritually related. That it is that you can see. So, as I was just talking to you, that you were talking to me about those three characters, they're still
Right.
in your head.
Right.
And the person just before you, she also has the same thing that I'm going on thinking, uska kya hua, uska kya hua,
Right.
uska kya hua.
Right.
That's what I want. I mean, we don't want to sort of, wrap it up and give it to you.
Correct.
We want the story to sort of, keep on going in your head so that you can tell somebody else and say, यार वो देख ले, हमने को पता उसका क्या हुआ.
Right, true. Because and I purely even felt that because especially as in the last track, it did feel some sort of a closure in a good way.
That's
Because
that's a closure for the whole film.
yeah, that's a closure for the whole film because you see, okay, it started at point A and it ended at point B, and it felt okay. He went through a journey. That again, I'm not reiterating it, but that didn't quite have that kind of a connect or that kind of a feel with the first two the protagonists of the first two stories. But I completely get your point.
But
Also,
you've been thinking about them,
yeah,
right?
of course you've been thinking around. Yeah,
what
of
happened
course.
to Kulu? What happened to Noor?
Absolutely.
And I think Noor, walking out of the show in the end, that's closure
That's
for
closure
me. What
enough.
else? What else?
Yeah, because she came in for that.
The show is the story.
The show is the story. That's fair. That's fair. And of course, I keep talking about the gaming track so much because I loved how much raw animation. There's so much to it.
Yeah, we've thrown everything.
I swear.
There's deep fake, there's AI,
Exactly.
there's motion capture, there's animation, there's the metaverse.
Absolutely.
There's
It's crazy to think that, all the possibilities connected to that, storyline are just thrown in there. And yeah, it's bombardment, but in a good way. It's really good bombardment because again, you've not seen this in a film so far, and that's, you pretty much stand for it. You are the kind of trailblazer in that sense. I would definitely term you that. But how difficult was that? I know that you wouldn't be, you did not animate things yourself, but to edit that, I think the editing must have been a pain.
See, the thing is that we animated it ourselves because the metaverse sequence was done with us doing motion capture.
Right.
I mean, physical motion capture and face motion capture, two different kinds of motion capture. So we did two different kinds of motion captures. Then we put it together. Then Green Rain, the amazing animation team, they worked with me over months.
Right.
To try and get it right, and then dub it, and then again re-edit it. Then Anand Bansal, our DOP, he actually had to light the metaverse, so he lit it. Then the gaming sequence that again was completely had to be animated. So all of that sort of we had to go into it and we had to do it. So,
yeah. Because, and as I keep talking, I keep talking about the editing because I feel that must have been such a pain.
Yeah.
Because
it was
because even like just to give audience a little bit of perspective, which I'm sure they will probably after they see the film. Even when you see the smallest, like a millisecond moment, when you see that meme laughing, the guy who's a meme laughing,
and we had to shoot the meme.
You had to shoot the meme. It's not like you're gonna get the meme which is available as a template on social media. But to be to be inserting that at the right moment and to be keep switching, I can imagine the kind of madness it has been. But I want you to tell people or probably mention that how important it is to get those beats right. And how difficult was it for you?
See, I think when we sort of visualized the film, and after visualizing the film as we wrote it, those memes were written in.
Oh, okay.
And then they changed.
Right.
And then it changed in the edit again. And then we took some out and we put some new in. For example, in the last days of the film, just 10 days ago, we shot that meme of that girl on the paragliding.
Oh, this is it. Oh my god.
So was like we had an idea. So
that's crazy.
He just got up and sent an influencer up on a paragliding thing and asked her to scream her lungs out.
That's insane.
So that's the kind of thing that we did. Then we had to get a guy who was running around naked in an office.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I know, and because that's what I say. The placing of this scene, the placing of these little moments is so important, especially when you're trying to convey a story like that. Yeah. But again, just to round couple of things up. One thing being that what is it that you would want the people? You stay with the characters. You stay and you think about them after a point of time. But there's going to be so much commercials involved in a film like this, and you probably have a good reasonable idea of what the kind of response will be. Does that still act as a barrier for you? In the sense that okay, fine, it's not going to open to 15 crores or something, right? I mean, it's realistically speaking. But is there always a commercial aspect attached that bothers you even today?
Always.
Always.
So you make your film cheap.
Yeah. But as you mentioned, when you do stuff like this, when you keep
even that
reshooting,
was done cheap.
Acha, you be smart with it.
You're smart with it, you're planned
You be
with it, you're
jugadu, I guess.
resourceful with it, and jugadu and resourceful and super planned, all of it. So yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
But
The
but
number that you mentioned
yeah,
is close to the entire budget.
that's crazy. That's crazy. And I'm sure that's a
Including
good. You've got a good streaming deal out of it.
including the yeah. So
Yeah,
including
yeah.
the marketing, including everything. So it's a yeah.
Yeah, and also not to ask you a cliche question because
What did you think of the songs? What did you think?
I have to. Sneha Khanwalkar is one of my favorites.
So which is your favorite?
For me, the LSD title track is
Oh,
Banana Town. I love that.
the one that ends the
The
film.
one that the end credits.
Ah.
Oh my god, I cannot wait for people to watch the end credits. It's fabulous. I mean, the end credits are so beautifully done. There is so much detailing. I think people are probably gonna
Three cheers to Team Switch. They are the guys who just designed
yeah,
it.
I did read them, and because I wanted to see the teams who did the deep fakes, and I wanted to see the team who did Team Switch. It is fantastic. I love the detailing because there's so much of it. I think that's a film in itself, like in the best way possible. And I never get up to do it, because people have this tendency of getting up and going away. But that was so good. I loved, as I was saying, I love the LSD title track, and I like Gulabi also. It's a much more subtle way to end it, and again, there is so much fun in that people are shooting with the way you think about. So I love the songs. I mentioned Sneha is one of my favorite
So that's
composers.
the Gulabi is by Zubin Nautiyal.
Zubin Nautiyal. Sneha did LSD
Gandital.
Gandital, yeah.
So for us, the main interesting part about Gulabi was that we use this extremely nice, romantic, big Bollywood track
Right.
for a very poor transgender janitor's love track.
Right.
So for that, I'm really happy.
That's amazing. Exactly. That's exactly the kind of deviation you want while
you saw that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I was there.
The amount of romance and love
Yes.
that comes from there.
There, yeah, exactly. And even romance, it was so raw and authentic between Kulu and I loved it. I immediately connected with it.
Yeah, Bonita is something
Bonita
else.
is something else. She's emoted insanely good. And when you have, Swastika doing what she does,
Yeah,
she's
amazing.
fabulous.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, these are the kind of Bonita being, a newbie, being
Absolutely.
so raw and great, and Swastika being a veteran. So fabulous stuff in that way.
But I think Abhinav will get a lot of.
I'm sure. I'm definitely sure. Abhinav's going to get it. I'm sure about that. To round a couple of things up, I hate to ask this cliche question, but I guess it kind of will make much more sense when film actually comes on streaming as well. It's going to be one of those films, people have their assumptions, and I'm sure a lot of naysayers, or so to speak, trade analysts, whatever, have also told you that this is the kind of film that's, good for OTT. This is going to get a much wider audience in OTT. Do you believe that?
See, the thing is, I have staked my all on Ekta's energy and belief to release the film as a theatrical. Frankly, I'm grateful that she's doing it.
Absolutely.
Which director would get to release a film like this in theaters?
I get that.
So I really hope that we've kept the film cheap, and the Balaji Studios makes it money, and I mean all the OTT deals and everything definitely sort of make you safe.
Make you safe, exactly.
And I hope it opens up some new directions for producers and directors to do something.
Absolutely. And is there going to be a much like the whole idea of being uncensored? Because I in fact asked you the same question at the press con as well, because the whole idea of frontal nudity and beeping the words out. I don't think nudity will still be a prevalent thing if there is an uncensored version. But are those beeps are going to go away when it releases on the streaming
I have
platform?
no particular idea, because that's something connected to distribution, and that's something connected to, if it had been a original, then probably they would have stayed. It's not an original. We've got a censor certificate, so we'll have to see. I mean, the studio guys will be able to tell.
Right.
Frankly, I think it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. When you saw the beepings, they actually tell you.
Yes. Exactly.
Something.
Yeah. You're right.
It's
You're right.
it's a meta kind
it's
of
a
a
meta
getting.
moment in
Yeah,
itself.
yeah,
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 yeah, yeah. So it started working. It started
absolutely.
working for me. So yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. Perfect, perfect. And obviously, my final question would be devoid of all this, devoid of LSD too. I read or probably heard somewhere there was a film that you've been planning to be making for a while, but somehow it just did not get the release.
No, no. I did a film called Tease for
Hmm.
Netflix. It was a
Okay.
Netflix original, and
Right.
after we made the film, Netflix said that they didn't think this was the right time to release that film.
Okay.
That
Okay.
happened in 2022.
Oh,
So
it's been
immediately after that, I
2 years.
started LSD. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
so is there any light to that, tunnel? Is there anything
yeah. Right
happening
now, there
soon?
is no end to the tunnel.
Okay.
Right now, there's no. I'm looking at a dark tunnel. So,
Get at the doctor. And finally, because what else do you have as for us?
well, a filmmaker like me is always looking for gigs. He's always looking for murgas to patao. He's
Right.
always looking for. I'm a filmmaker.
Yes.
So there are hundreds of things. There are hundreds of projects in the pipeline, and I'm speaking to hundreds of people. And I'm not saying I'm speaking to
I get
three.
it.
I'm speaking to 3 or 4 or whatever it
Yeah.
is. There's always something happening, and there's always something not happening, and that's my life. So it's always.
Absolutely. I would love to see you do an OTT show
Well, the thing is
that
that the
stays true
OTT.
to your
Yeah,
vision.
yeah. I mean, the thing is that what happens is that the OTT show life started well, but where it went.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get it. I get what you're saying. That's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the only reason I mentioned that is because I think at least there you will stay true to your vision.
Not so sure. I
Really.
mean, I
There
mean,
are two commercials involved there
but
as
as you
well.
can see, that is templating down
Yeah, yeah.
already. It's
Yeah.
templating down already.
Yeah.
In fact, if I had done this as an original for some OTT, there would have been much more interference.
Right. I get it. That's fair.
Whereas on LSD2, Ekta and I did it together in a way that we would fight, but you
Right.
can't call it interference.
Absolutely. It's just two
You
creative
you
people
you
trying to
yeah
make it better.
you would call it involvement.
Yes. Trying to make the product better, of course.
Yeah.
Perfect, perfect, fantastic. Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you so
It's such
much.
a
Thank you
pleasure
for having
talking
me.
to you. I always wanted to talk to you, and if I got the opportunity, no matter whatever people think about it, and there's always going to be people have opinions, but nobody can deny what you bring to us, and it's always fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you,
so
sir.
much.
Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much. Take care.
Thank you.